Connecting. Streaming. I don't know. Oh, shit, look at that. Jeff. 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 Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's live. It's live right now.
Live.
Fuck it. Doing it live. Fuck. I don't know. Alright, man. So, I guess this is, my name's Arling. The other guy that's going to be on here, his name is Jeff. Say hello,
Yes.
Jeff. Just doing my first live stream for a comic strip that I've just kind of recently started. It's called Harrison and Cinnamon. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of looking to maybe build a little interest in it before I release the entire thing. Hopefully that goes well. Yeah.
Awesome. So you're just are you working on your banner today for?
Yes, I am. Thanks.
No,
Yeah.
I just want.
Yeah. So yeah, working on my banner for YouTube. Just figured it might be like a good place to start for YouTube and for everything else. Kind of a nice simple thing where you just have the characters kind of out in a nice open area with like the name and kind of an initial sort of logo for it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's good.
I'm gonna do some drawing here. Just get kind of going on things. I did like a preemptive sketch of the two characters, kind of like hanging out together. Just because honestly, I just didn't have confidence. I wasn't confident enough that I was gonna be able to sketch them out and have them all fancy like this already. So it's just mostly what I'll be doing today is inking the characters, and adding a little bit of I guess kind of like line weight and depth to them, hopefully. Right.
You use a sketchbook, right?
Yes, I do. I use Sketchbook Pro.
Yeah. Any reason that you use that over, say, like Photoshop or anything?
There's a very good reason why I use it over Photoshop. Because I'm a simple guy. Yeah, no. Honestly, it's just I found whatchamacallit. See, I'm already failing at this. I'm not doing any drawing just yet. No, anyways, I found Photoshop to be just a little too bloated for me and my... Oop, wrong guy. A little too bloated for me, honestly. Just a really big program for when I'm just kind of just using it for mostly just for like drawing and sketching and stuff.
Yeah, right.
All right, so maybe
It looks good. I haven't seen it too much before, but after I've looked at you use it a couple of times, and
yeah,
it does look like a really good, software for just sort of doing what you need to do in terms of comics works. Like Photoshop's great for everything else you need to do, right?
Woo! Look at those lines, Jeff. When they start coming through for you, they are shaky. This is. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Sorry. This is like a junior high basketball all over again.
Junior high basketball.
Yeah, man. Yeah. How you doing out there, Arling? I'm like, I'm a pretty good player, but pretty fucking nervous, and I'm pretty much useless. Thanks.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. So in Sketchbook here,
yeah.
does it work like in Photoshop you have to set up brushes? Are these all predefined brushes?
Yes, they are. They're all predefined. I haven't got really too crazy and too into like making my own brushes or anything like that.
Right.
I don't know. Like I can change like the settings of them and like how much ink they're dumping out, and all just kind of within like that puck right there. Just kind of like slide back and forth, and that'll change the size of it as well as the opacity and whatnot.
Right. And you're working on a Wacom, so you have
yeah.
You have like pressure sensitivity and
so it's just pretty much like working on like essentially like paper almost. Just a lot more lenient and forgiving of being a rubbish artist.
Right. What do these pucks do? I don't understand.
I got the one puck here, like this one right there that'll be moving around. That one will control the opacity of it, how much ink is coming out, and then also the size of the brush depending on which way you swipe up or down. And the other one will change like kind of like the luminance of it.
Okay.
For the dark one changes the luminance.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like Photoshop where you have your layers and
Yes. Yeah. It's all layered. So I don't know. As long as you don't fuck up and start drawing on the wrong layers, you lock your layers out, which I already did before I started doing this.
Yeah. Right.
Nothing worse than wrecking a layer that you've put a ton of hours into.
No, I do that all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these characters you got here, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like a kid and a bear.
Yep.
So where did you come up with these characters?
Well, it was shortly after I failed at keeping an oil industry job, and I just wasn't sure what I was kind of do with things. If I was just going to go back to my old work and whatnot, which I ended up doing, which is fine. It's wonderful, but I just kind of had always wanted to do like a comic strip ever since like I was like little like grade 2, grade 3 type of thing.
Right.
And it's just something I always kind of like put off due to like confidence and just due to, later on, like, as you get kind of older, just due to like, I guess, time and responsibility and just hanging out with like friends and fucking around doing shit that you probably shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it kind of goes at times for I don't know, I think most everybody, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that job didn't kind of pan out and that sort of a potential revenue stream for life and whatnot wasn't going to happen, and I just kind of realized that money, although very nice, probably isn't the be all end all, and I should probably just be doing something that's going to make me happy in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of started back down this path or whatever. It's honestly a very long path to get back to it, because like it was just honestly like years of not drawing like anything. So I kind of got into like some other like hobbies like painting miniatures and just garbage like that. Mm-hmm. Which it's fine, it was fun, but honestly it's not as rewarding as like creating your own stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Fuck. Here. So I don't know, a lot of this and a lot of the inking that I'm doing kind of right now, kind of like really thin and sloppy and not that great, but ultimately I end up probably inking the thing probably about 2 or 3 times to kind of get the line weights to a point where it looks clean and looks the way I like. So kind of, I'm not necessarily fast because, first time doing it, but hopefully I get a lot faster because I'm produce more work. But right now it's just kind of like like I said, very much like a learning thing, especially with being first time live on the YouTubes.
Yeah, I find it's the same. Like I have the Wacom, what do you call it? The Intios or whatever it is. And I just, whether you're using an ink brush or a digital ink brush, it's sort of the same. I find that it just takes time to learn that fine control over whatever the tool is.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like fiddling that I can still do with this tool to kind of like, 'cause I find like a lot of times I'll like just like the weight of my hand kind of wavering on it, it'll just end up like dumping out like a big blotch of ink that I end up having like kind of go back and fix. Yeah. And press like the back button, and I just like, or there's like a slight hand waver or something like that. That maybe if I had the sort of like pen settings like set up a little bit better for myself, that I wouldn't be doing that so much, right?
Right.
So I don't know.
But the amazing thing about digital though is like, if I messed up that many times, the ink would be
you'd wear right through the paper with erasing it and all that sort of shit. It's I don't know. I can't imagine like those like actual real artists are like kind of just drawing everything like by hand. So a kid that I work with has honestly, dude's fucking phenomenal, and I'm very envious of how he just is able to kind of do everything.
Yeah.
Oh, this fucking nose is fucked. All right.
So you were saying a bit though that you kind of always wanted to do comics like from when you were 2.
Yeah, like really small.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Like what influenced you to do that kind of thing?
Honestly, it's not like super original. It's like really like the same influences like I think everybody else. Like back in the day, it was just like obviously like Calvin and Hobbes, which is probably like the biggest influence for like anybody that's kind of into like the comic strip sort of stuff, and then obviously like Garfield and like Haggard and that sort of stuff. And then as I got like a little bit older and like parents would start taking you like to comic book stores and you're like all into like the Marvel stuff, like obviously like when I was like a little kid, like Spider-Man. But I don't know, and I went through like a while like before like junior high with basketball and girls and that sort of stuff. And you're like, I'm gonna play basketball, and yeah, great, 5 foot nothing, and I'm gonna play basketball. Nope. But went through like a time there where I was like really thought I was gonna like want to do like superhero stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not sure if I really have anything worth saying when it comes to that sort of thing.
Right.
Like, maybe.
Speaking of that, Jordan Keith there in the chat. Mess up or no, you're still super hot.
Thanks, Jordy.
Awesome. And true.
Oh, was with the lore. My confidence is abound.
Yeah, that's it's weird, like how the influence is. Like for me, it was those Ninja Turtle comics,
right?
Like the original.
Yeah, the black and white.
It's just weird how like one thing will. I don't know. For me, it was one. I didn't really read, like, it was Spawn, I think, was really my other first comic.
Yeah, that's a late first comic.
Yeah, I don't know if I read comics really before that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's weird how that influences you and stuff.
I don't like that either. Yeah, no, I don't know, I'm just not sure. Oh, I hate it. It's not sure, like, if I could even ever let this go. Like, it's like, oh, it's time to grow up, time to stop this, and get like a real job and fucking knuckle down. Like, I don't even know if I could ever let it go and just not try, right?
Yeah.
It's just like it's time to be a mature adult. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not even sure I know what that means.
Well, yeah, who knows? I think any sort of mature adult would just do what they felt was in their best interest. Like,
best interest is always making money. It feels like, which is
the
worst.
You can't. I don't know. There's a lot of people that just want to make money, and you have to. But it sucks when you let your mental health dwindle because you're just so focused on it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like Elon Musk or something, I don't think he dwindles on it too much.
No. Well, once you get into like making that kind of money, it's like it doesn't fucking matter. Maybe it does. I doubt I'll ever know. But all right, so I don't know if I have an hour's worth of fucking this type of drawing to do, honestly, because I think we were scheduled for an hour, but
yeah,
who's gonna watch it for an hour?
Jordy.
Jordy, well, thanks. That guy's fucking true blue to the core.
So the story behind these guys, I don't know how much you want to give away.
Not 100% sure on that either. Like, I think I'd rather just kind of let that part sort of like play out for them or whatever, right?
Right. Jordy just said, on a serious note, this is pretty cool to watch.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, thanks for watching, Jordy.
Yeah, I appreciate it, actually, a ton. Jordy, are we going up for wings there, bud? Next Monday? Very topical. Very topical for like, a year from now when this video is still up.
You'll be going for wings every week.
Every fucking Monday because this fucking video. Good.
Well, okay, what stories do you like to write? Or what stories are you kind of hoping to write? What kind of...
I don't know, like these two right now, like they're going to be going off on kind of like they're going to have like a nice sort of casual little while, like kind of at home type thing where you kind of get to know them a little bit more. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this foot. It looks like it's been stung by a bee, but it's there for now. So you kind of get to know them a little bit with their home life and that sort of stuff. Then eventually they'll be going like off on like a little bit more like of an adventure type thing, kind of like a walkabout.
Right. So the story is sort of, is it adventure based? Is it like what like a genre would you put this in? Really, if you had to choose.
I don't know. I've been kind of like describing it to like if anybody's like in the know of like comics and that sort of stuff. If they read anything, I've kind of been describing it as like kind of like a buddy thing. Like I don't want to say Calvin Hobbes type thing, but kind of Calvin and Hobbes. Kind of. Hopefully, it gets to the point of like where their friendship kind of builds and everybody gets the sense of them being like the type of pals that like Finn and Jake from Adventure Time are.
Yeah, right.
Where they're just likable and cash and whatnot, and they're kind of there for each other. So it's kind of like hopefully one of those two things combined with like a little bit of like bone, where they're off on an adventure where they're kind of like forced or they just need to kind of go for like I don't know, for their own reasons, which will become apparent. Ooh, that one's fat. And Jordy, we stood each other both up last Monday. You didn't call me. You could have called. You could have called Jordy. I was there. I was working on this sort of stuff, but I was there.
You were there.
I was.
So is that the type of like stories that you're sort of into writing, or is it like I guess is this any bit autobiographical kind of thing? Or?
Well, yeah, for sure. Like within any sort of like writing a story, I think any like artist or writer is going to be putting in like bits of themselves, because like I'm just not sure how you couldn't, right? Like,
yeah.
For the most part, I believe that everybody's kind of like the sum of their experiences and whatnot, but
yeah, but a lot of artists are kind of I wouldn't say that they're forced to, but they're sort of forced to either write or, I guess, participate in comics that probably aren't what they want because
they're doing like other people's properties and stuff like that.
Yeah. So yeah, well, like we were listening to a podcast a little while ago from McFarlane,
right?
Creator of Spawn there, and he was saying that Image Comics is really like creator owned and stuff.
Yeah.
But like this new kind of like with the internet, the new internet.
The new internet.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can really just self-publish, right?
Yeah, and that's honestly kind of one of the things I'm definitely looking to do. Like, I don't know, it'd be awesome to have like the backing of like a big company.
Yeah.
But at that point, you have a lot of bosses and a lot of other sort of nonsense, and it's kind of one of the things I'd eventually like to get away from, and be able to kind of like dictate the exact story and the exact sort of things that I want to do. Like if I choose to like kill off one of my characters, then that's it, right?
I suspect there's a lot of companies out there that you just can't, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, they got too much like invested in them, right? Like you wouldn't be able to like just randomly just kill off like Peter Parker or anything like that without like some sort of without like a year's probably worth of meetings.
Yeah.
In order to do that, I don't think that's the right choice to do that little spiny fur like that on his elbow, but it's there for now.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, to me, the freedom of self-publishing is, I don't know, whether it be books or music or movies or whatever. I love the idea of being able to have your complete control over what you want to do.
Well, 100% your own voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, and there's no kind of committees dictating how and what you do or what stories you tell.
Yeah.
But obviously the downside of that is that you don't have any backing. So.
Well, yeah, and all the risks and all the time that goes into it is all 100% yours.
Yeah.
But I guess all the reward is yours, so that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Did you hear about that Invincible movie?
No.
So.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm completely out of touch with fucking everything, it turns out.
I think it just came out today.
Oh.
Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg are going to adapt Kirkman's Invincible.
Amazing. Invincible, one of the best, not one of the best, in my opinion, is the best comic or superhero comic going, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Seth Rogen, though, that's a weird name to. I mean, I think he produced something else.
Jordy would know. Jordy, what did Seth Rogen produce just recently?
Some other comic book movie.
Well, wasn't it? It was Preacher. Wasn't it Preacher?
Yeah, I think it was.
Honestly, that TV show was fantastic as well. They did a fantastic job. That was extremely good.
If they do that well, like if they follow the style of the comic and stuff, I think that could be a pretty sweet movie.
Yeah. It's an incredibly big comic. Like there's so much that happens in it. So
I know. I don't know how they're gonna.
Yeah.
How they're gonna deal with all that, but that's ending though too, right? That comic series.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I've heard it's coming to an end, which it's gonna be obviously it'd be extremely sad to see it go or whatever, because it's something I constantly look forward to reading, but it's just.
Yeah, Jordan said.
Green Hornet and Preacher. Yeah. Thanks, Jordy. Yeah, I constantly look forward to reading that one, but it's one of those things where like if there's no end to it, it just becomes like all the other sort of stuff that just kind of continues on, and you know that the main character or some version of the main character is always going to be around and always going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. It's nice to have like some uncertainty like with those like with your like main characters, because I don't know. It's just that's how life is to some extent, obviously, but. I don't know, it'd be nice if they left like some main characters that kind of end up like getting killed, or like in some of the comics, if they just left them dead instead of like always bringing back everybody, because eventually somebody wants to see them, and another generation of kids would like to have somebody around, whether it's like Hal Jordan or Barry Allen or whatever. But and I get it, but it just takes away like a lot of like the weight of like that character's sacrifice and the story. And that's just like sure. It just makes it really trivial for like it doesn't matter.
It's weird though. I mean, in a comic format, I don't know. It's weird because you spoilers for anybody out there that haven't read the books, the comics, or whatever. But there's like a lot of people die in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And some of them are a lot of them are main characters. And it seems like Kirkman takes a ton of like shit for that.
Yeah, but that's the best thing. That's.
I know, but
for all of Walking Dead,
actually care, or do they enjoy it, or do they actually hate it?
I don't know. Like for all of Walking Dead's faults and that sort of stuff, I think that's one of the best things about it is that nobody's safe, and it's just can like that your favorite character might die, and like that's just I don't know. That's how it is. That's how it should be, because like, once again, it's just it'll take all the weight away from it being like if you're 100% sure that Rick Grimes was going to live until like completely till the end, well, what's the point in fucking reading it?
Yeah. I guess there's that weird sort of middle ground though, where if you kill off the wrong main character, like
don't say it.
All right.
Don't say it. Like even though it's like long past, it's already happened on the show. Just don't say any of that stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of backlash to be had for killing off the wrong character, for sure. But I think that's great though that there is backlash, because it just shows that people care.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a comic that I've ever read where the main character switches.
Switches.
Well, like you meet, you sort of follow like your initial like protagonist, in the first however many issues, and then another one comes in and kind of takes over.
Right.
I don't know. I can't even think of any that might have done that.
I don't know if it's a permanent thing. Like I kind of quit reading Marvel like a while ago. Don't really like follow it too closely, but I know like Peter Parker was kind of gone, maybe / killed off for like a while. I don't know.
Oh, right.
And then Miles Morales took over for him.
Right.
And I think that was initially just only in the like the Ultimate Universe or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is it's fantastic. Ultimate Universe. Went back when I was reading Marvel. I prefer the Ultimate Universe to I'm not sure what they actually called their main one. It's been such a long time. But from what I understand, Miles Morales is a fantastic character for Spider-Man as well.
Uh-huh. So with your characters here, like, do you? How can I put it? Like, do you see them? Are they self-contained in their own world, or do you see them kind of branching out like into other things that you're thinking of doing, or other people are doing, or is it just?
Try to answer that properly. I think it'd probably end up being like there'd be cameos of. It's tough because with like copyright law and that sort of stuff, but like kind of get around it by kind of like doing like parodies or whatever, right? So like I imagine that at some point in time there would be like parodies of like other types of properties that they kind of like run into and that sort of thing.
Right.
And kind of get themselves like in these like situations with them, and like kind of have to get past like obstacles of maybe notable what the fuck's the word? Landmarks, I guess. Notable landmarks that other people would probably find familiar or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Dude, I think I've been switching between these fucking layers for this inking, and I'm totally fucking it up. I've got like 2 ink layers for fucking cinnamon, which is fine, but it's not it's not what I want. This is not what I wanted.
Well, that brings me into a bit of a question then, is how, like, I mean, part of this whole thing, like you were saying at the start, is to kind of let people sort of follow your process, good or bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know, like, you and I have been watching a lot of YouTubers and things,
yeah.
The last little bit kind of doing their thing. And, people kind of either come off as super pro and they're all like, yeah, I know what I'm doing and stuff.
Yeah.
What, like, I don't know, like, how does it feel like when you're doing your art? Like, do you, like you were kind of saying at the start, like, it's a bit nerve-wracking and stuff for you, but...
Yeah. Well, it's, like, nerve-wracking in the sense of, like, when you watch, like, one of those professional guys, like the guy we were watching, John... I don't know. The dude that draws for Disney, I can't remember his name right this second. And we're watching him, and the guy's, like, doing, like, a project where he's also doing, like, an animated short with a bear, and you just fucking watch him blast out this amazing, amazing-looking bear. Right. And, yeah, that's a little intimidating for, like, somebody who's, like, of, like, my kind of, like, skill level, and where I'm just kind of, like, relatively starting out fresh again, for, like, the bajillionth time.
Yeah.
And you're watching that guy just be able to blast out something, like, so pro-looking. I find that less nerve-wracking than watching other people that aren't as skilled as him and that aren't very good, because that honestly that makes me even more insecure in the sense of, like, well, what if they think they obviously think they're good, and maybe they are good, maybe they're the best of their friends, and maybe their mom puts their work up on the fucking fridge, and that's great. But when I see them, and it's like one of those things where I'm like, am I delusional? Like, I view them to be, and that makes me honestly incredibly insecure. I'm like, what if I'm fucking wrong about where I'm at with things, and I should just go get it, like, knuckle down and get, like, a real job where it's, like, permanent, and I'm just, like, make a big career out of it.
Yeah.
And just not even worry about, like, art in any sort of sense, because I'm delusional. I'm not that fucking good. And I don't know, like, this isn't bad. This, like, what I'm doing is not bad, but I don't know. Could be better. Could be worse, I suppose, but could be better.
Do you find that people are, in general, as honest about, like, their feedback to you as you are to them?
No, I don't know. I try to, like, always give everybody, like, my honest opinion, because I want them to get better at whatever they're trying to do, right? And if it's not good, I don't know. I'll give them my honest opinion. I don't know if my critiques are worth anything though, because once again, it's just an opinion.
Yeah.
And without me having done anything, like, really consistently professional ever, I'm not really sure what my opinion's 100% worth, honestly. But it's a viewpoint, and they can kind of take it or leave it. But I don't know if they are 100% honest. And how can you ever be sure about that in general with anything in life?
Yeah. What would you prefer towards your art?
Honest. Yeah. Honest, I don't know. At least if it's shit, then I can either ask why they think it's shit, or I can quit and move on to something that's more realistic for me to do, which I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a catch-22, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's so nervous and nerve-wracking to try to personally create something.
Yeah.
And put your your time and your heart and soul into it, and then you want people to be honest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that honesty, it can be difficult and it sucks.
Oh, for sure it could be, but I don't know. I'd rather it was, like, 100% honest.
Yeah.
It might be hard to hear at first or whatever, but, like, if it's not good, it's not good.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but
I guess it's the type of criticism you get, right? Like, if people are just like, you fucking suck at this shit. People are just trolling you or whatever. Well, you gotta
be able to read it, right?
Right.
You gotta, like, kind of read where it's kind of coming from. If it's obviously, like, the fucking sucks, you're a piece of garbage, and you should go die in a fire. It's like, well, that's just your opinion, man. No, I don't know if I like that.
Jordy's got some feedback there.
What's that for you, Jordy?
So he says, anyone that doesn't want an honest opinion is not a real artist or craftsman. Arling tore the shit out of my movie, and I'm super thankful for it. Opinion.
Thanks, Jordy. I'm glad you appreciate it. That was one of the most difficult conversations I've ever had in my life. I don't know. I respect Jordy a lot, and I don't know. It's just, I love you, bud. No, it was very, very difficult, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the next thing that he does.
Yeah. Well, I say, you know what, and I think that's where, I'm sure people say this all the time, and it's a bit of a dead horse, but I think that's where Lucas failed.
I agree 100% with that.
His entourage or whatever that he's been working with forever just kind of became yes men, I think, after a while, and
yeah,
and he's no real Steve Jobs of directing, really, in my opinion. So he needs those people to kind of say that's not that good, George.
How do you mean Steve Jobs of directing?
Well, I mean, it's arguable. People will come and argue this probably, but I'm just saying that in general, the idea was that Steve Jobs was not only an asshole about what he wanted, but he wasn't necessarily wrong.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, right.
Like he kind of knew what he wanted, at least, and it kind of worked for him. And
yeah.
He had people around him that kind of, but like Lucas, I don't know, he's not really the best director. He never really was.
Right.
So when people aren't kind of, I think, pushing him, George, that's either A, you don't have a budget, or B, that's just nonsense.
Yeah, it's like silly fucking slapstick. Yeah. Well, maybe amusing to 5-year-olds. Your audience isn't, like, yeah, they're making it for like young kids, but at the same time I think they need to like kind of realize that they're also making it for like a generation of fans that are now like in their like 20s, 30s, 40s already.
And there's a lot of old bands too that I like. They don't really grow up with their fans where they should.
I know, I agree with that. I also think, I don't know, and I'm not sure if you'll agree with this, but like, I think a band, when they clean themselves up and they stop doing whatever they were doing while they were making successful music, like, and a lot of times, like, when they're younger, it's like drugs and drinking and partying and that sort of stuff. Every time I've ever heard of a band cleaning up, for the most part, their music just turns to shit.
Like Goldfinger.
Like Goldfinger. Goldfinger's the example. Fuck, I love the shit out of their first, 4 albums. And then it's like, all of a sudden he got like all preachy and weird about like being a vegan and sort of stuff. And that's all well and good. Have your opinions, but like, I maybe don't write about it so much.
Over 60% or whatever, I was just a number I'm pulling out my ass, but there's a large percentage of his songs went to that. And just like,
over 60%.
I don't know. It's like a
lot. It felt like a lot, for sure.
Yeah, it felt like a lot.
For sure, and I don't know. I just don't think that's what made them what they were, like when they had first kind of started out. And like, yeah, you need to kind of grow and kind of move on, but like, I don't know. Do something different then if you're gonna once you start really changing your life up and sort of shit, or I don't know, maybe make a new band so you're not just being Goldfinger but being completely different. Because are you Goldfinger at that point? Are you, I don't know, are you Blink-182 when you've kind of like gotten significantly older and you're no longer, you're still making decent music but you're not as kind of like relevant, I guess. That's not a proper opinion. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, not relevant. I mean, they're
very relevant.
They're still relevant. It's just, I think, I don't know, maybe for them it's fine. I mean, it could be the same for art as well, and any type of art that you just gain new audiences.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And that's probably fine. I don't think bands like Goldfinger are all that upset whether it's, 35-year-old Jeff buying an album or, 13-year-old, like, whoever.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. As long as they're making money and they don't have to have a boss, I suppose. Ultimately, that's all that fucking matters.
Yeah.
It's not catering to anybody, and they can just kind of continue doing their own thing. And I don't know. Yeah, that might not be a fair standard to hold them to, I guess.
Yeah. So this one that you're drawing now, that's Harrison.
Yeah. This is Harrison.
And what's like the the backstory on this? He's a little kid. Like, what's his?
That's something I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that has to. I think you just have to read in order to find out if as it kind of progresses, because there's something to it.
Right.
Uh,
That makes sense.
Can't see what I did there.
So you've started.
What's that?
Yeah, just noticing you're starting a new layer, right? So
Yeah, I started a new layer of that, so it's just an ink layer just for Harrison, so I'm not drawing on top of the pencils.
Right.
And wrecking those and fucking them up.
Jordy was asking, what age group is the target? Have you ever tinkered with the idea of a children's graphic novel or comic, something for kids, but designed to entertain the bedtime reader, maybe facilitate?
I have. This definitely isn't it. Unless
facilitate teachable moments, kind of like the past comic you and I tried.
Oh, right. I've definitely thought about that, but more of a young adult kid sort of like book or whatever, not so much like children. This I think will kind of fall a little bit closer to that. Like it's definitely gonna look like it's for like a younger audience, but
yeah.
I think hopefully the types of jokes and the types of writing that I'll be doing for them will end up being maybe a little too blue, honestly, for like really young kids depending on what their parents feel, right? Like, I don't know. My parents let me watch and kind of do anything for the most, not do anything, but like watch anything I kind of wanted because I had an older brother that was just showing me like Predator and Terminator, like when I was like 5 years old and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I think I lost myself there. Drawing and stuff. El Jefe. What's...
Oh, this is Jordy. Jordy realized.
Oh, it's Colin. Colin Lowe. What's up, Colin?
Oh, yeah. It's Colin. Sorry. I didn't even realize. Hey, Colin. What's up?
Yeah. You know what the problem is with Colin here? It's wonderful to have him here. Colin's a real artist. Yeah, he does real art, like, I think, all day long.
Nobody go look his shit up right now.
You should probably...
No, don't. So, like you were saying before, though, so it's sort of, a children's graphic novel or whatever. Do you personally believe that kids are capable of, understanding more kind of mature?
Yeah, for sure.
Themes and stuff?
Well, I think they definitely are. It's just more a matter like they might not take 100% of the meaning behind it, but they're at least able to like take something from it, right? Something worthwhile. And like even if they just enjoy the drawings and they're not completely getting it, but they're just there for the art.
Right.
I still think it's 100% worthwhile for them. Like their parents and that sort of stuff might not want them reading fucking dick jokes and F-bombs and that sort of stuff. But,
yeah.
I don't know, that's kind of up to the parents to kind of police them and make sure that they're getting the type of upbringing that they're looking for. It's not, I don't know. I'm sure that's way off topic, but that's not for me to even concern myself with.
Yeah, I know. I was just wondering on that. Because I remember reading, for example, Spawn as a kid. I'm fairly certain if I went back and reread it now, there would be lots of themes and stuff in there that I just... It's like Pee-wee. It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. You go watch that now, it's a whole different experience as a kid, but as a,
Yeah.
As an adult, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, Pee-wee's kind of a dick.
He's a giant dick, but fucking now watching it, the guy's hilarious. Like, back then, you're laughing at him yelling and screaming at his fucking couch. Fuck your couch! But then now you're like, it's like, wow, this guy's like just always being real subtle mean to everybody.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure is phenomenal, by the way. Everybody needs to rewatch that as an adult.
Yeah. Oh, even the new one was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I liked it. Fuck that line.
Colin was saying, you'd be surprised what kids can figure out and remember.
As the new father of the group, yes, he would know, actually.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
I'm always surprised at what kids can kind of come up with, or least make up on their own.
Yeah.
Based on what they know or see.
Yeah. I've not spent. Honestly, I haven't spent any time with kids for the most part. I held one kid in my arms once, like Bobby's baby. I think when I was like 25 or something like that. Other than that, I've never even held another kid, and I don't know. Children are terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying, Colin. Terrifying.
So, what's your just to go a bit off topic here? What's your process for this type of stuff? Like, do you start out, kind of with like research sketches, and then go into inks and then colors, or what do you kind of?
Well, with the characters, I did start with I want to say years worth of research sketches, but it really wasn't that. It took me years to kind of get to this point because I was procrastinating and painting little metal dollies,
right,
for various games and whatnot. But now that I'm kind of to this point of, quotations, polish, I kind of just have an idea for what type of scene I want them to kind of be in and where I kind of want them to kind of go with it. And then I start sketching them out like incredibly loose and messy. Kind of why I started with inking here, because like my sketching style is very kind of messy and kind of all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if it's just that all that aesthetically pleasing to begin with. So, and then like lately I've been building the scene around them after I have them kind of like finished. Like with digital, I'm able to kind of manipulate them, change their sizes and change their positions a fair little bit if I don't quite like it. But yeah, I've kind of doing it backwards, unfortunately, for the time being. I think that some of that just kind of comes from my inexperience, and then I kind of have to like build the scene around them. So,
do you find that you avoid things that you don't feel comfortable with? Or
yes,
that's just your process.
Yeah, no, that's everybody. Of course, yeah, I definitely avoid stuff I don't feel comfortable with, and then I just kind of leave it to the end, and then I kind of like regret it, and then I just end up having to like knuckle down and kind of like building it around them and kind of like making it fit, which is less ideal, but I don't know. That's just I think it's gonna end up like kind of coming for me with a little bit more time at doing this and confidence as that kind of like builds.
Yeah. And maybe in context too, right? Like once you actually are kind of like this, it's sort of, you have it in context, so it makes sense what you're doing. But
yeah. That fucking finger sucks. I got a question for you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not, just kidding. This is going to be super duper inappropriate. I was going to fuck with you.
Don't fuck with me, man. I'll hang up.
No, I'll be alone. I'm so alone.
That's pretty good that you got 5 people watching. So, hello to everybody.
Yes. I appreciate it. No, I do appreciate it. That's great, honestly. Meanwhile, they've actually just left their computer and they left it on the screen. It's like, I'll leave it here, and he can just mumble away at himself and just fucking nothing.
I mean,
maybe not.
If it's anything like me, you got nothing else to do while you're sitting on the grabber.
I'm just drawing on the shitter right now.
Yeah.
That'd be the dream.
Yeah. I was watching a YouTube video where that people in Japan, their bathrooms are kind of like, how does it work? Like the sink will like swing out of the way.
Right.
And that's the whole room is a shower.
Weird.
Yeah, but the sink can swing out of the way for the toilet, and then you just put it back, and then you just shower in the entire room.
Right.
That's my dream.
The entire room shower.
Yeah. Sounds amazing to me.
I don't know. It seems like that's because they live in like really tiny places, and they just have to make the most out of every little bit. I don't know. After living in that tiny place, I would never want to go back to anything like that.
No, the places themselves are.
Are they normal size?
No. No, the one that I was looking at it was all like, it was narrow, more narrow than it was wide.
Yeah.
It was probably, I don't know, no more, probably about 50 feet long.
Yeah.
I don't know how the people could live in those types of like places for extended periods of time, but I don't know, they make do, I guess.
Yeah. That's the worst. I don't know. I always question my anatomy, but
So this, in the background, it says logo and safe area. This is a template that you're.
yes, it is. It's a template for YouTube's to get this the banner. So everything's kind of like within that safe area that'll appear with on your mobile devices. Everything that I'm kind of drawing and working on now will be mobile devices, and then there'll be like the background stuff for like your tablet was kind of goes out a little further, and your desktop's a little further. But then your television, I've never YouTubed on my television, but I guess it's a thing. But then everything else would be kind of the background. I think my plan is to have that just as green space for the most part in the background for this because I don't really feel like I can have important stuff kind of in behind them, right?
Yeah.
Because it'd just be cut off or something like that, and then you're kind of missing out.
It looks like it'll get cut off.
Unless I was going to make it like a surprise, sort of like, it's like, oh, if you look at it on your TV, then there's this extra bit of the picture, and there's like all this other sort of nonsense kind of going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that seems interesting. Like, maybe that's a possibility eventually, but not right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So you basically just keep the same pen. I've just noticed you kind of.
Yeah, I just keep kind of same pen, and I don't know. I find once I kind of have everything kind of like inked in like initially, I'm kind of able to kind of go back in and kind of like fatten it up a little bit to like kind of where I kind of want it, and how I want like the line weights to kind of be afterwards. Once again, I think that's just more of a matter for me, just kind of getting more used to this and probably adjusting like the line weight of the pen and like how much pressure I'm actually using.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of comes down to just my inexperience still.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, I don't know, I find I'm really kind of lazy when it comes to adjusting that sort of stuff, and I'd just rather just draw and kind of get just like, oh, I'll just deal with it, and I'll just keep on drawing, and it'll be what it's going to be, which honestly is dumb, but it's what I keep on doing, sadly. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'd just rather draw, but.
Yeah. As Jordy was mentioning before, we did a comic card, I think in the past. I think it was Jordan.
Yeah, it was.
So, have you done, what projects have you tried in the past, and like, what do you think is your sort of reasons for them, whatever successes or failures that you had back in the day?
Oh, it's a loaded question there.
Yeah, well,
loaded.
So I was wondering how you see those same challenges, or if you worked sort of through that.
Well, I did the placebo effect with you.
Yeah.
I think that was the main one. Oh, and we also did a gray matter. We did gray matter way back when
back in the day, I forgot.
Way back in the day. Yeah, we did this comic called Gray Matter, which was going to be like a Flash comic.
Yeah, back when we pitched the idea to, what was it, Entertainment Playground or whatever it's called.
Electric Playground.
Playground, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily all that well received.
Wasn't it? I don't know if you told me that. I don't recall that.
Well, I remember it was, but it wasn't. They, I don't know. I think that they couldn't see the idea. They didn't understand the idea of the kind of the Flash moving type motion comic that we were going for. But
right. Dude, if we had done that at that time, I'm not sure if there's much like that at that time when we first had that idea to do it.
No, it was pretty new, but it was also very difficult to do. I mean, this was back,
in
the early 2000s, I think, and it was the internet back then.
I think it was 2001, 2000. I think it was 2001, if not 2000. Oh no, we're down to 2 people watching. Oh no, dwindling.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah, we were, but it was. The internet was still pretty slow back then.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was difficult to get those. Flash required a lot of, bandwidth and size and stuff, so it was tough.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyways, I think a lot of the reasons for those kind of things, at least on my end, was some of it was passion, because it just maybe wasn't necessarily the right project for me.
Yeah.
When it comes to say placebo effect, I feel like I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it well, but it wasn't the right project for me. And so it was just, and just kind of timing. You get like a little bit of like life stuff that kind of comes up where you're not able to kind of like fully concentrate on what you need to be doing, especially for doing something so involved as like a weekly webcomic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when anything like that gets in the way of something that's so time consuming, it just starts snowballing. It starts building up, and then eventually becomes something that you put off for too long, and it's just the project just becomes too big.
Right.
And then with like the stresses of working with kind of like somebody else, you know, you don't always feel like working at the times when either you need to work or when they're working when they need you to work.
Yep.
And when it kind of comes like that, it's almost like having a boss, which makes it difficult, especially when like when it's your pal, when it's your buddy, and they're trying to keep you on task, and then it's not so much resentment, but it kind of gets there, like on both sides, like for sure, like you're making me fucking do this. I don't want to do this. I'd rather just be fucking around with such and such, and then the other guy's like, if you care about this, you should be fucking doing this when I need to do this. But so with kind of doing this on my own, it's all up to me. So for the most part, it's all up to me. So like any sort of successes and failures are 100% on me, and just also like a different stage of life that I'm kind of finding them in. So I just feel like I'm able to kind of like knuckle down and just realize it's what's important to me. So I just need to kind of do it or not do it, I guess. Right. I'm not sure if that answers anything, honestly. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just wanted because I know for me it was part of my failures. I think in the past have been that I always get to this point where I feel what's the word, like I don't know. I just feel really nervous about things not moving forward.
Yeah.
And so I start looking for projects that are, that I could do instead of doing projects that I feel I want to do.
Well, it's the old school procrastination thing, right? Like when you're in school, what did you do when you were in school to procrastinate? Well, you fucking draw comics.
Yeah.
Right? When we're like both in school drawing, I can't say the title, Fleela. I don't want to say the rest of the title. But we're like drawing Fleela comics. It was like a way to procrastinate and a way to kind of get away from like the bullshit of school. Yeah. And then like, once you're like finally done school, it's like, all right, now all I have time to do is just what I think I want to do, which is comics. And then all of a sudden it's like, when that kind of starts feeling like work, then you start looking for other projects that are like that you feel like are easily completable.
Yeah.
But then those projects get to the same point too. Yeah. Where they're like, they get like 50% done, 60% done, and it's kind of like do or die time. And you're like, oh, I'd just rather work on something else. And you just keep on going back and forth on everything, which is, so you just get nothing done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I have thousands of dollars of models that are all in various points of disrepair and paint because of exactly that. Mm. Ooh, blop, blop. That looks like shit. That looks like shit. It looks like shit!
So it looks like your inking process is kind of like you get those initial inks down just to kind of give you that baseline or whatever of your light and shadow, and then you just kind of go in there and
try to get a sense of shadow, but I feel like I just fail all around on it. It's just everything ends up being a slightly fatter line. Honestly. I don't know. Get rid of that.
I don't know. It's never been something I've been able to grasp myself that well.
Feet. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should read a book on it or something sometime.
Yeah.
Just wing it. Just wing it. It's,
Nobody will
know. To some extent, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, unless Colin's still watching, then he's like...
Colin's like, you fucking amateurs. I don't know. I don't like this shoe either, but I think that's the shoe he's going to get. There. Shoed.
I don't know, still can get at me.
It's all right. Yeah. But thank you, I appreciate that. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! It's almost been an hour.
Yeah.
Thank God, that means I can almost quit. I can just the pressure.
So how much are you willing to reveal about where you're at in this whole process?
Like as far as the art goes?
Well, I mean as far as like where you're at and how you're feeling. Like you basically kind of like
Where I'm at in the process of like making.
Of like the whole the project, I guess.
Relatively at the beginning, honestly. Like this whole thing is right now. Anybody that actually ends up watching this, they're kind of watching me go through my kind of like, not necessarily initial struggles. Like I think I have the characters relatively down to where I think how I want them to look. Although I'm not 100% sure that they won't change a little bit.
Yeah.
But even if you look at like other artists when they're kind of like just starting out on their like first stuff, like Greg Capullo and that sort of stuff when he first started on Spawn, his first couple of issues were pretty rough looking, but then he quickly became like amazing, which would be very nice if that happened to me, but I don't know, whatever. So yeah, I've done a fair bit of work on getting the characters relatively down to and how they look now, and they've changed a decent amount with the exception of kind of like I don't know, Harrison's always kind of had this hairstyle, and he's always kind of been a little bit shorter with like kind of like relatively like baggy shirt, baggy pants type thing, right?
Yeah.
But Cinnamon's changed a lot in his time, like when I've kind of drawn him, but I still think he'll get like streamlined a lot more and kind of end up looking hopefully better and like a decent amount different. So, but relatively speaking, anybody who's kind of like watching this is kind of seeing like some of like my first little tiny like baby steps, honestly, because like you said, kind of like before, it's been before kind of starting on this, it had been like I don't know, like what 10 years or something like that almost since I really had drawn anything because I was procrastinating and doing other sort of nonsense things that was just kind of filling time and felt important.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of one of the reasons why like when you had suggested this to do like a YouTube video so people can go watch you kind of go from zero to hero and like hopefully I don't know watch me grow and maybe appreciate it, I guess, I suppose.
Yeah.
Be very nice, but
Rocco Hill says
Rocco. Oh fuck.
Yeah, Rocco Hill. Well, it's maybe a 5 or maybe a DS 5-minute nudie next, or a Flamin rubbing his sword mat on television.
I don't know if I could do that on YouTube.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. YouTube's.
I'm
assuming cocks and stuff on YouTube are probably frowned upon.
Probably frowned upon. I don't know.
Rocco says, "I think these look great."
Thanks, bud. I think you look great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I think it's cool to. I don't know. I don't know how this is, but like I think there's a lot of artists out there that don't, and there's nothing wrong with it. Just sort of putting yourself out there and sort of saying, I'm awesome and this is the way I, and just full on confidence. But I think there's a lot of interest and stuff in watching people kind of struggle with it.
Grow and struggle. Yeah. I hope so, because I don't know.
I mean, hopefully people get enjoyment out of kind of watching the process. And I mean, I love watching the process of behind the scenes stuff. To me, it's just, it's almost more entertaining sometimes than the actual movie or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all like that, how they did special effects, like back in the day for like Return of the Jedi and how they made Jabba. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. The shit like that, I don't know, I find is, I really respect people who can pull some of those things off, even if the movie sucked. I mean, this Ghost in the Shell movie apparently is flopping bad, but
the special effects look so good. How they fucking made them.
I was watching some of the like tested Weta backshot workshop stuff, and I was just like, and you feel bad, right? Because some of that stuff they never get seen by a lot of people, but
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go see it just based on those videos of all the special effects. I'll give them my money for that because that looks great, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, I don't know, is it flopping though because of like people had this like great expectations for this anime like live thing, and it's like, oh, it's just not what it is, and they put like a Caucasian character into like what they felt like was a kind of like a more of a traditional like Chinese or Japanese. I don't know what it is necessarily myself, but
From what I can gather, it's a bit of a combination of, I think, politics.
Yeah.
And partly just because it may have been released during what got like Big Boss Baby or whatever it is, and
is that a good movie?
I don't know. I never even heard about it until like a week ago. And then there's that other movie that's out right now, Beauty and the Beast, right? So I think it's
Beauty and the Beast, Gaston.
It may just be up against the wrong crowd,
right?
I don't know. I watched the anime the other week, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I tried to watch it like ages ago, like when it first kind of like came out on VHS, and it was just never something I could get into.
Yeah. Are you erasing the inks now, or are you?
I erase the inks just for their eyes, and like that's eventually I'll probably will go in and kind of touch up some of the flubs, like with just erasing and kind of smoothing things out where I feel like was like a little too heavy.
Yeah.
Like within like Harrison's fingers and stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just like honestly not a whole lot, but that's kind of one of the problems. And I'll just kind of seeing as how I like both these layers well enough, because I kind of combine the two ink layers into like just separate it up just in case I fuck up on the second run.
Mm-hmm.
I usually try to do two layers, and then I like them enough, so I'll just combine them into one layer, and then it kind of allows me to kind of like work on everything as if it's just one, right? But
yeah. As Rocco's like, what about the CGI tiger on The Walking Dead?
Fuck, that's such a, I don't know. I still like the comic, like Negan in the comic.
Like that guy in the comic. I thought his backstory was fine at it.
Yeah. Even the
TV show one.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty weak.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed.
I don't know, for whatever reason, like a tiger in the comics, it plays pretty well. Like, it just has a different feel to it and doesn't look as hokey as a CGI tiger.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not great, honestly. That whole TV show is kind of just not doing it for me anymore, honestly, for like quite a while now.
Yeah.
Not also.
I don't understand. They must have huge budgets for that show at this point.
I would assume.
So I don't know. I mean, I understand there's practical reasons and stuff why you couldn't get real tigers and stuff, but can you not? I don't know. Like, there has to be enough traveling circuses left in the world or whatever that probably shouldn't be there, but they are. I'm sure they could have pulled a tiger in for the day or something.
Traveling circuses. Fuck.
Well, I don't know.
Well, there's something they could probably do, or I don't know, just better effects on the tiger, or just don't do it. Just have it like kind of like, just don't have it in there because it's just maybe just doesn't work so much in the real world. Like it was like it was a neat idea in the comics, I suppose, but like just maybe don't do it. Like it's not gonna play well.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't too fantastic, but.
All right. I don't know. I'm kind of relatively done with what I'm kind of doing on this now, I think.
Okay.
I think I just might call it there, and because.
So maybe zoom out, take all the your layers off underneath, and you can take a look.
Yeah.
Make it full screen or whatever.
Yeah. That's ultimately what it looks like right now. I might end up doing some. Like I said, some grass, maybe a pathway that will kind of go like for the rest of the canvas.
Yeah.
To add a little interest if people are viewing it on like different. Just use a big cat. Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, Jardy. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. That was cool.
Yep, that's the first time. That wasn't so bad. The nerves actually died down a fair bit by the end. Felt like my hand kind of steadied out a little bit. It wasn't the worst. I was anticipating, I don't know, a pant load of poop, I suppose.
Oh, looks like it worked out fine to me. So,
yeah.
I guess, yeah, thanks everybody for watching.
Yep. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for helping me out with this.
Yeah,
That's
no
great.
problem.
All right.
Look forward to more.
Yes. Thank you. All right.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
See you, everybody.